Welcome to Core Concept HQ, where big ideas are simplified. Today, we're breaking down the book, Buy Back Your Time.
It is good to be back. And, today we are tackling a topic that I think every single person listening struggles with, whether they want to admit it or not.
Oh, for sure.
We are talking about that feeling of just drowning.
Drowning in work, or just drowning in general.
Drowning in lists, drowning in obligations, drowning in that nagging feeling that no matter how hard you run, the treadmill is moving just a little bit faster than you are.
I feel that in my bones.
The book is by Dan Martell, and it's basically a manual for escaping that exact trap.
I have to admit, when I first saw the title, Buy Back Your Time, my immediate reaction was this mix of, oh my God, I need this, and also a little bit of skepticism.
Skepticism of house.
Because it sounds like a luxury, right? Buying back time sounds like something only billionaires get to do. The rest of us, we just have to work. We have to grind.
And that, right there, that's the exact mindset Martell is trying to completely dismantle. It's, frankly, the mindset that keeps people stuck. We have this cultural programming that tells us the path to success is paved with suffering.
The hustle, the grind, hashtag team no sleep.
Exactly. We put it on T-shirts. We wear exhaustion like it's a badge of honor, a status symbol. The thinking is if you're not tired, you must not be trying hard enough.
I am so guilty of that. There's this weird guilt I feel if I finish my work at, say, 4:00 p.m. I feel like I should invent more work to do just to look busy.
That is the trap in the nutshell. And Martell's entire premise, the core of the book, is that the get shut done mentality, that GSD attitude, is actually the biggest barrier to your own growth.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I know, it sounds crazy. It works in the beginning, for sure. But eventually, he argues, it leads to failure, not success.
That's a massive claim. We're always told that hard work beats talent, that the person who works the hardest wins. Are you saying that hard work is actually the problem?
Not hard work in and of itself, but the wrong kind of hard work. The thesis is super counterintuitive. To grow, whether you're building a business, managing a team, or just trying to get your life back, you have to stop doing everything yourself.
Okay, I think I need an analogy for that.
He gives a good one. You don't win a Formula One race by getting out and pushing the car yourself.
Right.
You win by getting in the driver's seat and actually driving it. Most of us are just pushing.
I like that. But before we get into the nuts and bolts of how to stop pushing the car, we really need to talk about Dan Martell himself, because his story is, it's not what you'd expect.
Not even close.
When I hear productivity advice, I usually picture some guy in a perfectly pressed suit who's, never had a bad day in his life.
Yeah.
That is not Dan.
No, and I think that's why the book lands so well. He has what I call the why credibility. He didn't learn these concepts in some fancy MBA program. He learned it the absolute hardest way possible.
Yeah, his backstory is just wild. We're not talking about a failed lemonade stand here. We are talking about
jail time. We are talking about pure chaos. As a teenager, Martell was completely spiraling. He was involved with drugs. He was getting into high-speed chases with the police.
High-speed chases, for real.
For real.
Yeah.
He tells this one harrowing story about crashing a stolen car into the side of a house.
Into a house.
And in the middle of all that chaos, he's trying to pull a gun out of a duffel bag, but it jams. And he says, thank God it jammed. But that was the path he was on.
That's terrifying.
He ends up in jail in solitary confinement.
I mean, that's rock bottom. It doesn't get much lower than that.
It really is. And he's sitting there just staring at the walls, and a guard named Brian opens the little slot in the door. And you'd expect the guard to be harsh, right?
Yeah, you expect some movie-style tough guy.
But Brian just looks at him and says, you don't belong here. You're meant for something else.
Wow. Just a moment of humanity.
A tiny flicker of it in a completely dark place. But the real turning point, the big shift, happened later in rehab. He's doing his chores, cleaning out a cabin, and he stumbles across this old computer book.
The famous Hello World.
Exactly. It was a book on Java programming. Now, for most of us, looking at code is like looking at alien hieroglyphics. It makes no sense.
Right.
But for Dan, in that moment, it looked like pure logic. It looked like order.
That makes so much sense. If your entire life is chaos and unpredictability, code is safe.
That's it. Code is predictable. If you type the right input, you get the right output. Every single time. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't change its mind. For a kid whose world was totally out of control, that sense of control was addictive. It saved him.
So he takes this new addiction coding and building businesses, and he just runs with it. He becomes this huge tech success. He builds multiple companies, makes millions of dollars. And this is usually where the movie ends, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then he was rich and happy forever.
Right. Cue the credits, roll the music, but that wasn't the ending at all. He built these incredibly successful companies, but he had actually just created a new prison for himself. A much fancier prison than the one he was in as a kid, but a prison nonetheless.
The 18-hour work days, the grind.
He was the bottleneck for every single thing. He was grinding himself into dust. And he tells this just heartbreaking story about coming home late one night. He's exhausted, he smells like stress, and his fiancée is just standing there waiting for him.
I remember this part from the book. It's brutal.
She takes off her engagement ring and puts it on the counter. And she says, I can't do this anymore. If you want to spend your life with me, you have to actually spend time with me.
Oof. That just hits so hard. Because you can have all the success, all the money in the bank, but if the person you love is walking out the door because you're never actually there,
Yeah.
what is the point of any of it?
Exactly. And that was his massive wake-up call. He realized he had built these incredible business systems, marketing funnels, software architecture, you name it. But he had zero life systems.
He'd built a business that he was starting to hate.
He was growing to resent it. And I think so many people listening can relate to that. Maybe they're not CEOs of tech companies, but they've built a career or even just a life that demands so much of them that they've started to hate the thing they built.
That is the core conflict, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I think is a perfect lead-in to the first major concept of the book, the trap of the GSD mentality.
Get done.
The mantra of our generation.
We wear it like a badge of honor. I'm a doer. I get things done. And Martell's advice is simple. Stop it.
Okay, but I have to play devil's advocate here for a second. In the beginning, you do have to get things done right. If I start a new venture, a podcast, a bakery, whatever, I can't just sit back and meditate on it. I actually have to do the work.
You're 100% right. In the early stages, that hustle is the fuel. You have to push the boulder to get it moving. The problem is most people don't know when to stop pushing.
They just keep pushing, even when the boulder's rolling downhill.
They think the same strategy that got them to their first $50,000 in revenue is the strategy that will get them to $5 million. And it's just not. It's a completely different game.
And Martell calls this limit the pain line.
The pain line. Yeah, and it sounds ominous for a reason. Because it is.
Can you describe what that feels like for someone who might be on it right now and not even realize it?
The pain line is that point where your personal capacity is completely maxed out. You physically cannot answer one more email. You cannot take one more meeting. You are redlining the engine. And when a high performer hits the pain line, the business or the career or their life just growing, it stops growing.
Because there's literally no more room. You've run out of you.
Exactly. You've run out of you. And when you hit that wall, Martell says one of three things usually happens. You either stall, you sabotage, or you sell.
Okay, walk us through those. Stall, sabotage, sell.
Stall is the most obvious one. You just flatline. Your growth chart just goes sideways. You stop taking on new clients because you're too busy. You stop innovating. You're just treading water, trying not to drown.
Been there.
Sell is when you just want out. You're so burnt out that you take a lowball offer for the business or you rage quit your job just to escape the pressure. It's the escape hatch.
But sabotage.
Yeah.
That one sounds the most dangerous.
It is, because it's subconscious. You start breaking things without even realizing it. You accidentally ignore important emails. You snap at a key client. You create chaos because if things fall apart, well, then you finally have an excuse to stop running.
That is genuinely terrifying. It's like your subconscious mind pulls the emergency brake because your conscious mind just refuses to.
And there's a story in the book about a guy named Stuart that just illustrates this perfectly. Stuart runs a successful software company. On paper, he's killing it, but he's doing everything. He's coding, he's doing customer support, he's handling the accounting, all of it.
Oh, I know this guy. I am this guy some days.
So he takes his family to Disneyland.
The happiest place on earth.
Supposedly. But Stuart isn't happy. He's checking his emails while he's in line for Space Mountain. He's worrying about a server crash while he's eating a churro with his kids.
And he's not really there. His body is there, but his mind is back at the office.
Totally. And eventually, he just collapses on a park bench.
Oh my God, a heart attack.
He thinks it's a heart attack. His chest is tight. He can't breathe. The world is spinning. The paramedics come, the whole thing. But it wasn't his heart.
It was a panic attack.
It was a full-blown panic attack. It was the pain line manifesting itself physically. His body was screaming SOP because his brain wouldn't listen.
And the real tragedy of that is He's at Disneyland with his kids, and he's completely missing it. He's in his inbox.
He's trying to outwork a broken system. And that really is the key insight of this first section. You cannot outwork a broken system. If the engine of your car is smoking and making weird noises, pressing the gas pedal harder doesn't make you go faster.
It just blows up the car.
It just blows up the car.
Okay, so if we accept that we can't just work harder, we have to change the entire mechanism. And this is where Martell breaks things down into what he calls the 3 levels of trades. I found this framework really, really helpful for just diagnosing where I am.
It's a great little ladder to visualize your career progression. So level 1 is trading time for money.
This is the default setting for most of us.
It is. You have a job. You clock in, you clock out, you get a paycheck. Even if you're a freelancer or a new business owner, if the money stops the second you stop typing, you are at level 1. You are the engine.
And there's nothing inherently wrong with level 1, right? It pays the bills. It's how society functions.
Absolutely nothing wrong with it, but it has a hard ceiling. You only have 24 hours in a day. You cannot scale time. So the goal is to make the jump to level 2, trading money for time.
This is the buyback. This is the whole premise.
This is the whole premise, and it's the hardest jump for people to make mentally. This is where you take the money you earned in level 1, and instead of buying a nicer car or a bigger TV, you use it to buy other people's time.
Like hiring a cleaner for your house.
Or hiring a virtual assistant. Or paying the neighbor's kid $20 to mow your lawn instead of spending your Saturday doing it.
So why is this jump so hard for people? Is it just about the money? I can't afford it?
That's part of it, for sure. But I think there's something deeper. It's the ego. It's the belief that no one can do it as well as I can.
Oh, I feel that. The classic, it'll just take me longer to explain it to someone than to just do it myself.
That is the single most expensive lie an entrepreneur can tell themselves. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But that one mindset keeps you chained to level 1.
Okay, so if you can master level 2, then you get to the final level.
Level 3, trading money for money.
The empire builder.
This is Warren Buffett territory. This is complete freedom. This is where you deploy capital, your money, and that capital goes out and works for you while you sleep or play golf or write code just for fun because you enjoy it.
And Martell makes this brilliant point that most business owners think they're entrepreneurs, but they're really just employees stuck at level 1.
They're employees with a really, really terrible boss.
Themselves.
Think about it. Your boss, who is you, makes you work weekends. They call you when you're on vacation. They pay you last after everyone else gets paid. And they constantly criticize your performance.
I would sue that boss for creating a hostile work environment.
Exactly. So we need to fire that terrible boss and become a better one. And the way we start is by embracing this one mantra Martell uses. If you take only one thing away from this whole deep dive, let it be this quote.
Okay, lay it on me.
$100 million companies were not built on $10 tasks.
Oof. Okay, that
Oh,
stings a little.
it's supposed to. It's a reality check.
So when I'm spending an hour fighting with my printer to get it to print a shipping label, I'm not actually saving money.
You are lighting money on fire. Let's do the actual math on that. Let's say your goal is to make, I don't know, $200,000 a year. If you do the math, that means your time is worth roughly $100 an hour.
Good.
If you spend an hour of your time fixing a printer because you didn't want to pay the Geek Squad $50 to come do it, you didn't save $50. You spent $100 worth of your valuable time to do a $50 task. You lost $50 on that transaction.
When you put it that way, it sounds completely insane, but in the moment, it really feels like saving money.
Because we value money, which is renewable, more than we value time, which is not. And that's the fundamental error we all make. You can always make more money. You can never, ever make more time.
Okay, I am sold. The philosophy makes sense. We had to buy back our time. But how? How do we actually do it? This brings us to section 2, the buyback principle and the loop.
Yep.
First, just define the buyback principle for us. What is it in a sentence?
It's simple, but it is so profound. Don't hire to grow your business. Hire to buy back your time.
Wait, okay, explain the difference there, because that sounds like the same thing. If I hire someone, isn't the goal always growth?
Usually, yeah. But think about how most people hire. They hire out of desperation. Oh my God, we need more sales. I need to hire a sales guy. So they go out and hire a sales guy.
Okay, it makes sense.
But now what happens? Now you have to train the sales guy. You have to manage the sales guy. You have to review his contracts. You have to fix his mistakes when he messes up a deal.
So my personal workload just went up, not down.
Exactly. You hired for growth, but all you did was increase the noise and complexity in your own life. The buyback principle flips that. It says, Look at your own calendar. What are the things you are doing that you hate, that drain your energy? Hire someone to do that.
So if I'm spending 10 hours a week answering basic customer support emails,
You hire a support rep, and boom, you now have 10 free hours on your calendar every single week.
and then, and this is the most important part, I'd use those 10 hours to do the high-value stuff that actually does grow the business.
Precisely. You don't hire to add weight to the plane, you hire to remove the drag.
So how do we execute this? He gives us a framework for it called the buyback loop. It's 3 steps: audit, transfer, fill. Let's start with step 1, the audit.
This is the part nobody wants to do, but it's like eating your vegetables. You just have to do it. You need to track your time.
Ugh, I hate time tracking. It feels like I'm micromanaging myself, feels like detention.
Yeah, I know, it's tedious. But Martell suggests just doing it for 2 weeks. Every 15 minutes, just jot down what you did, answered email, scrolled Instagram, had a client call, thought with the printer.
But he adds a twist to it that makes it way more interesting. It's not just about tracking time, it's about tracking your energy.
This is the absolute game changer. It's what he calls the red-green highlighter test.
I love this.
Once you have your list of every task you did for 2 weeks, you go through it with 2 highlighters. Red is for anything that drained you, anything where you felt heavy or annoyed or just bored out of your mind.
Okay.
And green is for anything that lit you up, the stuff where you lost track of time because you were so in the flow.
Can you give me an example from your own life? What's a bright red task for you?
Oh, that's easy. Scheduling. The back and forth emails to find a time to meet. Does Tuesday at 2 work for you? No, how about Friday at 10? It literally drains my soul. I will procrastinate on that for 3 days straight.
For me, it's anything to do with formatting.
Yeah.
Like making a slide deck look pretty. I can write the content in an hour, but then I'll spend 3 hours aligning the text boxes, and it makes me want to throw my laptop out a window.
Perfect examples. Those are bright red tasks. So now you've done this exercise and you have this visual map of your week. And you can see, oh my God, 70% of my week is highlighted in red. No wonder you're exhausted. No wonder you're hitting the pain line.
And then you add dollar signs to each task,
Yep.
right? Based on value.
Yep. $1 sign for cheap, low-skill admin work. $4 signs for high-level strategy work that only you can do. And what you'll almost always find is that your red tasks are also your $1 tasks.
Which brings us to step 2, transfer. This is where we move those red, cheap tasks to someone else. We'll get to the who in a minute.
Mhm.
I actually want to talk about step 3 first, because Martell says this is where most people fail.
Yes.
Step 3 is fill.
This is the danger zone. This is so critical. Let's say you do it. You hire an assistant. They take all your scheduling and email management off your plate. You suddenly have 15 brand new free hours every single week.
Sounds amazing.
It is, but if you use those 15 hours to watch more Netflix or just scroll social media, you haven't bought back your time. You've just, I don't know, started an early retirement.
Which sounds nice, but it doesn't help you build the empire. It doesn't move you forward.
Exactly. If you want to grow, you must consciously and proactively fill that newly empty time with your green tasks. The tasks that make more money, which he calls production, or the tasks that recharge your batteries, which he calls investment.
And he visualizes all this with the DRP matrix. I think we should break this down because it's such a clear way to categorize your entire to-do list.
Okay, so imagine a simple 4-quadrant chart. The vertical y-axis is money, from low at the bottom to high at the top. The horizontal x-axis is your energy, from low on the left to high on the right. Let's start in the bottom left quadrant. This is low money and low energy. This is D for delegation.
What goes in here?
This is all the stuff you hate doing that doesn't make much money. Filing invoices, checking the generic info at email address, scheduling appointments. These are the weeds in your garden. You must get rid of them immediately.
Okay, kill the D quadrant tasks. Now, top left, high money but low energy. This is R for replacement.
This is the trickiest quadrant. This might be doing sales calls. You're great at them. They bring in a lot of money, but you absolutely hate doing them. Or maybe it's the core service delivery of your business. It's profitable, but it drains you.
So you can't just stop doing it or the business dies.
Right, you go broke. So you have to replace yourself in this role. You need to hire someone who is at least 80% as good as you are to take this over so you can get out.
Okay, bottom right. Low money but high energy. This is I for investment.
These are your hobbies. This is playing guitar, going to the gym, having a date night with your partner, reading a book.
The stuff that the hustle culture gurus tell you to sacrifice.
Exactly. They'd say, stop playing guitar. Use that hour to make more cold calls. And Martell says, no, absolutely not. Keep this stuff. This is what recharges your battery so you can be effective in the other areas. Do not delegate your date night.
Please do not delegate your date night. That will end very, very poorly.
And that leaves the final quadrant, the holy grail. Top right, high money, high energy, P for production.
The promised land.
This is your zone of genius. For Dan Martell, it's creating content and doing high-level business strategy. For you, maybe it's designing a new product or coaching your top clients. The entire goal of the buyback loop is to clear out all the other junk so you can spend 90% of your working time right here in this quadrant.
Right, love that framing. It makes the goal so clear. I'm not just trying to do less work. I'm trying to do less red work so I can do more green work.
That's the entire game.
Okay, so let's get into the weeds. Section 3, the practical tools. We know we need to delegate. But the biggest objection I hear from people, and honestly, the one I feel myself is, I just don't have the money.
That classic.
I'm a freelancer making $60,000 a year. I can't afford to hire an assistant.
This is where we have to go back to the math. And Martell is very specific about who you should hire first. He calls it the replacement ladder. And rung number 1 is not a salesperson. It's not a marketing guru.
What is it?
Rung number 1 is an admin assistant.
Why an assistant first?
Because they own what he calls traffic control. They take over your inbox and your calendar. And if you don't control your calendar, you cannot control your life. Full stop. An assistant acts as the gatekeeper. They stop all the noise from ever reaching you in the first place.
But the cost. Let's do the real math for that freelancer making $60K a year.
Okay, let's do it. $60,000 a year, assuming a standard work year, is roughly $30 an hour. That is your buyback rate. Your time is worth $30 an hour.
Okay.
Now, you can find a good virtual assistant or VA for somewhere between, say, $10 to $15 an hour. If you hire a VA for just 5 hours a week at $15 an hour, that costs you $75 for the week. But if in those 5 hours, they take over all your scheduling, your inbox filtering, your invoicing, all those $10 tasks, and you use those 5 hours to do more of your actual 30-hour client work, you just generated $150 of value.
So I spent $75, but I made $150. I actually profited $75.
You profited $75, and you got to do work you actually enjoy more. It's not an expense, it's an arbitrage. You are trading low-value money for high-value potential. You don't need to be rich to hire help. You hire help to get rich. You have to flip the sequence in your brain.
Okay, that makes sense. But here's objection number 2, and this is the one that gets me every single time. Training people just takes too long.
The other classic trap.
I look at a task like, I don't know, uploading this deep dive to our platform. And I think, okay, I can do this in 20 minutes, but if I have to explain it to someone, write out a guide, take screenshots, that's going to take me 2 hours. I'll just do it myself.
I'll just do it myself.
Right.
The 4 most expensive words in business. And you end up doing it yourself forever. Martell has a tool for this that is honestly my favorite thing in the entire book, mostly because it appeals to my inherent laziness. It's called the camcorder method.
Laziness is a powerful motivator. Okay, how does it work?
The rule is this. Never write a training manual from scratch. Do not open a blank Google Doc and start typing out bullet points.
So what do you do instead?
Instead, the very next time you have to do that repetitive task, let's say it's processing payroll, you turn on a screen recorder, you can use Loom or Zoom or whatever free tool. You record your screen and your voice, and you just do the task.
So you just talk through what you're doing as you're doing it?
Yes. You just narrate your actions. Okay, so first I'm clicking here. Then I open the spreadsheet. I'm looking for column B to match column F. Oh, and watch out for this one weird arrow. Sometimes this happens and you have to do this. You just do a stream of consciousness narration.
So it takes almost 0 extra time, maybe a few minutes longer because you're talking out loud.
Exactly. Then, and this is the absolute genius move, you send that video file to your new assistant and you say, your first task is to watch this video. Then do the task. And finally, you write the standard operating procedure, SOP, based on the video you just watched.
Oh, that is beautiful. That's brilliant.
Isn't it? Think about the layers. 1, they learn by watching you do it perfectly. 2, they learn by actually doing it themselves. And 3, they verify that they understood it by writing the manual. And now you have a written manual for the next person you hire, and you didn't have to type a single word of it.
That completely eliminates the I don't have time to train excuse. It just vaporizes it.
Gone. It's so smart.
But what if they still do it wrong? This is the ultimate fear of delegation. You give them the task, you use the camcorder method, and they come back with something that is just Well, it's garbage.
And then you enter what he calls the delegation death spiral. You throw your hands up, you say, "See, I knew it, nobody can do it but me," and you take the task back.
And you're stuck doing it forever.
Usually when work comes back wrong, it's not because the employee is incompetent. It's because your instructions lacked the necessary nuance. And Martell has a solution for this called the definition of done, or DOD.
It's like a checklist for giving instruction.
Exactly. When you assign any task, you need to clearly define three things. First, the facts. What does the finished product physically look like?
Mm.
I need a spreadsheet with 3 columns: name, email, and date.
Okay, that's straightforward.
Second, functionality. What does the finished product need to do? The links in the spreadsheet must be clickable. The formulas at the bottom must sum correctly.
Those seem pretty standard too. But the third one is the one that everybody misses.
The third is feelings.
Feelings in a business task. That sounds a little fluffy.
It sounds fluffy, but it's the secret sauce. You have to define, how should the recipient of this work feel? Let's use an example. You ask your assistant to reply to an angry client who's asking for a refund. The fact is, send an email. The functionality is, process the refund in the system. If they just do that, they might send a cold robotic email that says, "Your refund has been processed. Goodbye." Technically, they did the job, but that client feels dismissed.
Right, and they're never coming back. You lost the relationship.
But what if you define the feeling? What if you say the client should feel heard, they should feel reassured, and they should feel valued, even though they're leaving us? Now, what kind of email does the assistant write?
A completely different one. Something like, "I'm so sorry this didn't work out for you. I've gone ahead and processed that refund immediately for you. We really value your feedback, and we hope to see you again in the future."
See, you have to download your intuition or your vibe into the employee. The feelings requirement is how you do that. You make the implicit explicit.
That's such a good point. We just assume people know our vibe, but they're not mind readers.
They're not.
Okay, this is all great, but it leads to the next problem. We move into section 4, leadership. Because once you start buying back your time, you're building a team, even if it's just one assistant. And suddenly, your time is being bought back, but your brain is being eaten alive by questions.
The constant interruptions.
"Hey, boss, where can I find this file? Hey, boss, what should I do about this client?" They got a minute. Drive-bys. They kill your focus.
They kill all deep work. And Martell has a very strict rule to stop this dead in its tracks. It's called the 1.3.1 rule.
I love this rule. Let's actually role play it so people can hear how it sounds in practice. I'll be the annoying panic employee. You be the leader.
Okay, I'm ready. Go for it.
In a slightly panicked voice. "Hey, the website is down. Customers are starting to email us. What should I do?"
Calmly, I understand it's urgent. Use the 1.3.1 rule and come back to me in 5 minutes with your proposal.
Pause. Okay, that's a little harsh, but I see how effective it is. So I go away, I do some thinking, and I come back. Okay, I'm ready. One problem.
Yeah.
The website is down because the server is overloaded with traffic. 3 solutions. A, we can call the hosting company and wait on hold. B, we can upgrade our server plan online right now. It's a one-click process. Or C, we can just post on social media that we're doing maintenance and wait for the traffic to die down.
Right.
And one recommendation, I recommend B, we upgrade the plan. It costs an extra $20 a month, but it fixes the problem instantly.
And as the leader, all I have to do is say one word: approved, or yes, or do it.
And that feels so much better for both of us than me just dumping the problem on your lap and you having to solve it for me.
And look what just happened in that scenario. You did the critical thinking, you did the research, you came up with options, you made a decision. I just had to ratify it. If I solve the problem for you, you'll just come back to me next time the printer breaks.
But if you force me to use 1.3.1, you're training me to become a problem solver.
You're creating leaders, not followers. And this is the fundamental shift from transactional management to transformational leadership.
Okay, break those two down for us.
Transactional management is, I tell you what to do, then I check to see if you did it. Then I tell you what to do next. It's micromanagement. It's exhausting for everyone, and it treats people like they're robots on an assembly line.
And transformational.
Transformational leadership is, I tell you the outcome I want. I tell you how we're going to measure success. And then I get out of your way and let you figure out the how. It's, our goal is to increase website uptime to 99.9%. Go figure it out. You treat people like adults with brains. And shockingly, when you treat people like they have brains, they start to use them.
There's one more quick little leadership hack in this section that I think is just genius. The $50 magic pill.
Oh, this is such a lifesaver for any business owner. You create a simple rule for your team. You are authorized to spend up to $50 to solve any customer problem without asking for my permission.
Fix it. No approval needed.
Just fix it. If a customer is angry because their shipment was late, empower your team to send them a $20 Starbucks gift card. Or send them flowers. Or refund the shipping cost on the spot. Don't make them come to your office and interrupt you to ask, hey, can we spend $15 on flowers for Mrs. Smith?
Because the time it takes to have that conversation costs more than the flowers.
It costs way more than the flowers. It removes you as the bottleneck, and it makes the customer incredibly happy because their problem is solved instantly, not 24 hours later after it goes through 3 layers of manager approval. It's a win-win-win.
Okay, Section 5. We're in the home stretch. We've audited our time. We've delegated all the grunt work. We're leading our team effectively. We now have this precious free time. We've achieved the buyback. Now what? How do we design a life that we don't feel like we need a vacation from?
This is the ultimate goal, right? Moving from that I desperately need a break feeling to I actually love my Tuesdays. And it all starts with designing what he calls the perfect week.
Most of us live in reactive mode. We wake up, we check our phones, and we let the world's emails and notifications dictate our mood and our focus for the day.
We're playing defense, not offense. The perfect week is about playing offense. And it involves 2 key concepts, batching and energy mapping.
Explain batching.
Batching is just grouping similar types of tasks together. Our brains pay a heavy tax every time we switch context. If you write a paragraph of a report, then you answer a quick phone call, then you try to go back to writing, it can take you 15-20 minutes just to get back into that deep workflow. You're leaking energy all day.
So batching means?
It means I do all my podcasts on Tuesdays, back to back. I do all my financial reviews on Friday mornings. I do all my creative writing on Monday mornings. You stay in one mode for a dedicated block of time.
So you're wearing your creator hat all day Tuesday, and you wear your CFO hat on Friday. You're not trying to swap hats every 30 minutes.
Exactly. And the second part is energy mapping. This is about matching the task to your body's natural energy levels. Most people are mentally sharpest in the morning. So you should schedule your production work, your most important creative, deep work, for 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
And what should you not schedule then?
Do not, I repeat, do not schedule a recurring team status meeting at 9 a.m. on a Monday. That is a crime against productivity.
Put the boring meetings at 3 p.m. when everyone is in a food coma and sleepy anyway.
Exactly. Protect your magic hours at all costs.
He also talks about zooming out and planning not just the perfect week, but the preloaded year. This uses that old big rocks analogy.
Yeah, you've probably read this one from Stephen Covey. If you have an empty jar and you fill it up with sand first, the little things, the emails, the daily chores, you won't be able to fit the big rocks in later. The vacations, the big family events, the important project.
You have to put the big rocks in the jar first.
Right. And then you pour the sand in and it just fills in all the gaps around the rocks. So Martell says you need to plan your entire year in reverse.
How does that work?
You open your calendar for next year, today. And the very first thing you do is schedule your vacations. Block out those weeks. Second, you schedule all the important family events, birthdays, anniversaries, school plays. Third, you schedule key business events or conferences. And only then does everything else, the sand, get to fight for the remaining time.
That feels really scary. Booking a vacation for next August when you don't even know if you'll have the money or the time.
It's scary, but it's essential. Because here's the insight. Work will always expand to fill the time available. If you don't build a fence around your vacation time, work will creep in and eat it. You'll look up, it'll be December, and you'll be completely burned out with no breaks taken.
So by preloading the year, you're creating a container that forces you to be more efficient in the weeks you're working.
Precisely. And he makes the point that this structure actually creates more spontaneity, not less.
How is that possible?
It's a paradox, but structure creates freedom. Because you know all the important stuff is already handled, and on the calendar, you don't have that low-level anxiety running in the background all the time. You can actually relax and be present.
This all ties into the concept of having a 10x vision. There's a great quote from Dan Sullivan that Martell uses. 10x is easier than 2x.
Yeah.
That sounds completely backward. How can 10x be easier? It sounds 10 times harder.
It sounds harder, but think about the mechanism, the psychology of it. If I tell you to grow your business by 2x, to double it, what's your first instinct?
I'll just try to work twice as hard,
Yeah.
make twice as many sales calls, work weekends, just more grind.
Exactly. And you'll probably burn out. The path to 2x is often just more the same, but harder. But if I tell you that you have to grow your business 10x...
Then I know right away that working harder isn't going to cut it. I can't work 10 times harder. I'd be dead.
Right. A 10x goal is so big, it forces you to throw out the entire current playbook. It forces you to find a completely new vehicle. You have to delegate. You have to build systems. You have to stop doing those $10 tasks. The 10x goal makes the buyback principle non-negotiable.
That is really profound. The bigger, scarier goal actually makes the day-to-day decision-making easier because it eliminates the option of, I'll just do it myself.
That's it. It forces you to think like an empire builder.
And finally, the book wraps all this up with the 7 pillars of life. Because again, if we build a $100 million company, but our health is gone, our family has left us, and we're totally alone, we didn't win.
We lost. We failed miserably. Martell is very clear that business is just one game we're playing. The full life includes your health, your hobbies, your friends, your family, your spirituality, all of it.
Yeah.
The goal isn't just a buyback business. It's a buyback life.
It's an infinite game where you just keep buying back more time to do more of what you love forever.
I love that he says there is no retirement in this model. Why would you ever want to retire from a life you love? If you design your life so you spend your days doing only the things that light you up, surrounded by people you love, you don't need to escape to a beach in Florida. You're already there.
That really is the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've covered a massive amount of ground. Let's do a quick recap of the entire journey for everyone.
Let's do it.
Stop grinding. Recognize the cane line is real. You cannot outwork a broken system.
2, audit your time and energy. Get out those red and green highlighters and be brutally honest about what drains you.
3, hire to buy back time, not just to grow. Calculate your buyback rate and start with an admin assistant to control the traffic to your brain.
4, delegate smartly. Don't write manuals. Use the camcorder method. And always define the feelings of a task, not just the facts.
And 5, preload your year. Put the big rocks of your life in the jar first and let the sand of work fill in around them.
And the whole time, remember the mantra, $100 million companies are not built on $10 tasks.
Tattoo it on your forehead. Or, at least put it on a Post-it note on your monitor.
This has been a game changer for me, just talking through it. I'm definitely looking at my own to-do list with a lot more suspicion now.
Good.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought to chew on. Something that connects all this back to the real world. If you successfully bought back 10 hours of your week, starting next Monday, who would benefit the most from that?
That's the real question, isn't it?
Would it be your business? Or would it be your kids? Would it be your partner? Would it be your own mental and physical health? The buyback isn't just an economic transaction, it's a relationship transaction. Who gets the best version of you when you're not exhausted all the time? Just think about that.
Powerful stuff.
Thanks for listening, and remember, this is Core Concept HQ, where we break down powerful ideas to help you live smarter. See you in the next summary.